Please feel free to subscribe to this sideshow and append any comments and questions, which I shall endeavour to deal with to the best of my theatrical propensities.
I've been prevailed upon by those who decide my fate to have a word on percentages. Now, how does one make percentages interesting? The answer is with enormous difficulty, but I'll do my best. First of all, what is a percentage? A percentage is, above all, a fraction. It is a fraction in which the denominator is 100. Why do we bother with percentages when we could use fractions? Well, the reason is, how does one compare, say, the following fractions? 3 out of 5 and 4 out of 7. For example, which is the bigger of these two? Well, we can find out if we do this. Multiply both of these by 35, 3/5 times 35 will come to 21, and 4/7 times 35, 75 goes 5 times, 4 5s is 20. So they are very nearly equal when you multiply them by 35, but this one tells us that this one is very slightly larger than that. So 3/5 is greater than 4/7. However, if we use percentages, we don't need to go to all that trouble, because obviously 50% is less than 51.5%, for example. Okay? So the next step then is to convert fractions into percentages. Conversion of fractions to percentages. I hope, of course, that everybody is familiar with the percentage sign, which is something like that. Some people just write a dot. Lazy people do that. Energetic people like myself do that. Okay, so let's see what we do. Let's take an example, say 3 out of 8. How are we going to write that as a fraction? In other words, we want that to be something x out of 100. Well, the easy way to do that is simply multiply both fractions by 100. So this will become 300 over 8. And we are left here with the x. And now we just have to divide 8 into 300. And what does that become? 8 into 300. You can use a calculator for this, of course, because here the main object of the exercise is not to see if you can multiply and divide, but to get fractions. So anyway, we'll do this the long way. 8 into 30 goes 3 times, with 6 remainder. 324, 6 remainder. 8 into 60 goes 7 times. 7 is 56 with 4 remainder. 8 into 40 goes 5 times. So x here will be 37.5. And our answer will be 37.5%. That means out of 100. All right? Okay? So what I'll leave you with is just a few examples, some fractions into percentages. The first one is one you should already know, that is 80%. And this one you should also know is 35%. The rest of them, what you need to just do is divide 6 by 13, and you could use a calculator for this because here the test is not to see whether you can multiply or divide, but simply obtain a fraction. So you do 6 divided by 13 and multiply the answer by 100, and we get, let me try that again, 6 divided by 13 times 100, yes, 46.15%. Then 5 out of 9. This one you should know, if you convert that to a decimal, it's just a row of 5s going on to infinity. So to give that to two decimal places would be 55.56%. The next one, need to use a calculator for that to speed things up. 21 divided by 38 times 100 is 55.26%. So it seems that these two percentages are pretty close together. Okay, and then with the rest, same old process, 16 divided by 45 times 100 is 35.56%. Again, it's a non-terminating decimal, so we need to give it to a few decimal places. And then similarly, these two, 11 divided by 14 times 100 comes to 78.57%. And lastly, 22 divided by 130 times 100 comes to 16.92%. You can make thousands of these examples up just to give yourself the practice and check them on the calculator. All right? That finishes off for the first section. The next section will be finding one quantity as a percentage of another, which will be very similar to this.
Please feel free to subscribe to this sideshow and append any comments and questions, which I shall endeavour to deal with to the best of my theatrical propensities.